Hello and welcome back. Before we entered corona pandemic, do you remember what was happening? We were seeing nationalism rising everywhere around the world, and also global warming, climate crisis, ocean plastics, and wildfires, and on and on and on. All these are the signs of the end of capitalism was coming, because capitalism is the system that can only run on distractions. So today I would like to talk about what will happen after capitalism is over. My name is Dr. Samurai, an international social pathologist and also an active prison counselor. Being a Japanese who was educated in the United States, I understand both Western perspective and Eastern perspective and can take good points of each to come up with a better solution. And also, in addition to being a prison counselor, I have been exchanging communications with their ultimate inmate friends in American prison system. So I have been learning their views directly from them. So I can see things from way deeper down than most of the experts. So let's start today's lesson. Has anybody read this book, For Futures, by Mr. Peter Frase? He mentions four possible futures after capitalism is over due to the depletion of natural resources. Capitalism will end sooner or later. One possibility is communism. According to him, this communism, they do not need human labor anymore. Automation progresses so much that we don't need human laborers anymore. Actually, we do not need humans anymore. But material-wise, the world is so wealthy. So people now, not having to work, will have to find new purposes to live. That is the communism. And second possibility is rentism. Rentism is that the owner of infrastructural softwares and blueprints, owners of the original ideas, they become the new elite who have the most power, collecting money as copyright. So he is mentioning the need for lawyers is going to be very high to find who is illegally using without paying the copyrights, and to protect the owner's rights in the courthouse. That is the rentism. Third, Mr. Frase is talking about socialism, in which we will have to rebuild our new society after the complete distractions and depletion of natural environment, and cities are uninhabitable due to the damage caused by exceeding capitalism. He emphasized that we need to clearly separate the area where human beings live and the area where untouched nature can exist, so that they could give out enough oxygen and things like that. except for basic infrastructure of the society. We should keep natural areas untouched by human beings. He says we need to come up with a new relationship with nature. Human civilization and nature's new relationship on this planet Earth. And of course, we have to watch out the amount of resources we use. And also, we have to work on repairing the damages caused by capitalism. And we also have to establish the system to recycle things so that human civilization can work within the capacity of natural cleansing. And fourth, Mr. Frase talks about exterminism. This is the world where 1% of super rich has the power. They monopolize all the materials left on this earth. And they live within a guarded residential area. They own their own police and militaries. And this 1% super rich don't care about the rest of the 99% of us. Furthermore, they want us to die so that their monopoly becomes much easier. And the general public are not going to waste what little is left on this earth. Communism, where people have to find new living purposes without having to work. Rentism, the owners of blueprint and softwares, especially infrastructural softwares, can become a new elite. Socialism, in which we rebuild our human civilization, which gives full respect to nature and try to find a way to coexist with nature. And exterminism, which 1% of the super rich will exterminate, eliminate the general public for their own survivals. I like to emphasize that communism and socialism that Mr. Frase is talking about here are different from current socialism and communism. That is actually a big problem when we try to discuss future new economy platform. What is going on in the name of communism and socialism today is not the real communism and socialism. The one we see today is using those titles as a way that people without any credentials or any approval by election or any talent to be chosen to be a leader, the ordinary people without any talent, having only ambition to grab power, they are using this title of communism and socialism to reach that power position. That's why once they grab the position, they never do any elections. What Mr. Frase called communism and socialism are real communism and socialism. Okay, thinking about society's sustainabilities and so on. That said, let's move on to the latter half of my analysis. What do you think will happen? We actually see sign of rentism, right? We have to pay certain amount of money to use like softwares created by Silicon Valleys, right? The owner of those infrastructural softwares are going to have more and more power, and we cannot say anything. And also 3D replicators do exist now already. We can make a house without real carpenters working at all. Once you put this blueprint into computer, it takes care of the rest, and we can get a real house very easily. And exterminism. Don't we see signs of exterminism a little bit? Like America First by Mr. Trump. That means knowing that planet resources are almost depleted, America comes first to monopolize, take large part of what little is left, right? Out of these four, we can clearly say the only option we should proceed to is number 3, socialism. Respect this organic planet and coexist between human civilization and nature. This is the only way possible that most of sensible people can understand, right? It is said that if all the people in the world live in the lifestyle that American people are living today, we need 4 Earths. Without having 4 Earths, we do not have enough resources to provide everybody American lifestyle. But that is clearly impossible. The absolute condition is we have only this one planet Earth, and we must live on this, right? So everything must be calculated backward from this. That said, rentism is already happening. And one thing I forgot to mention is and socialism, our only possible options. To make it possible, Mr. Frase mentions universal basic income. Under this corona pandemic, the government are providing multiple subsidies to people and to businesses, right? And this universal basic income is something like we continue that subsidies the certain fixed amount to everybody that guarantees they can make a decent human living. That way, people will lose the desire to work as we do today. That is going to automatically stop this damages capitalism is causing on nature and environment. And also, rentism, the important features. Complete automation that is going to make human labors unnecessary, is going to contribute to this socialism society very much. That said, here is the most important value points. What we have to watch out is the exterminism. Talking about what is going on in the United States, this split between blue states and red states. These are signs that originally come from exterminisms. You know what Mr. Mao Zedong said? He said, death is beautiful. Death changes the situation. And if half the population die, the rest of the half can live. So death is a good thing. Stalin, he was a pathologically suspicious person. He had 10 identical bedrooms, allegedly, and he never told any servant which room he was going to sleep tonight. Once he suspected somebody, he killed that person instantly. He even had Trotsky follow into Brazil, I think, and killed him. Hitler. Some people say Hitler was a nice person to the people around him. Of course he is. Everybody is nice to the people who is nice to us, right? But the problem is when, those surrounding people did something outside of his expectation. A person like Hitler immediately cut off that person. Remember, Hitler was preparing a child army. When somebody objected to that plan, he said those children chose voluntarily. So even if they die, that's their own choice. What do these mean? Authoritarian dictators who can do exterminism. They don't care, people. I'll tell you what. Iron rule is a person can give out only those which he absorbed and took in before. What the person did not experience, he can never do to others. Authoritarian people, they are the ones raised under high oppression by their parental figures. This is my inference, but it is highly likely that a person like Mr. Trump was raised under high oppression by his own father. And it's highly likely that's why his older brother died due to excessive alcohol consumption complications. Seeing that Mr. Trump took a different position in family structure, he always lied to avoid the responsibilities and criticism by his father. All these things were written in his biography and autobiography. Once his father comes to dinner table, everybody stopped talking. Getting back to the core of what we are talking about. What we must watch out. The first thing is that this transitional process to possible exterminism that is going on right now, even after Mr. Biden took his office, nationalisms are still everywhere. Mr. Putin in Russia, Mr. Kim Jong-un in North Korea, Mr. Xi Jinping in China, Mr. Bolsonaro in Brazil, and Mr. Duterte in the Philippines, and on and on and on. They are all appealing to the public to make their country superior to others and wealthier than others. If we keep competing against each other, we are going to pass the tipping points, and we will lose this earth altogether, like the Titanic that sank. And blue states versus red states, they are part of the signs of exterminism scheme. Do you really think a person like Mr. Trump really cares about the ordinary level poor people? Do you really think he loves America? What he loves is America as his own possession. As long as people vote for him, he is okay to those supporters. But like Hitler said, he doesn't really care about the happiness of other people, because raised under pressure all the time, why can he have caring mind for others? People can only do things that they themselves experienced and took into. Did they have those chances to mingle with the ordinary people No, I don't think so. Everything is to his own self-interest. That's probably why picture on the wall of his son-in-law shows Jerusalem that Mr. Trump moved to this current geographic position. And he wrote in his comment, beautiful, isn't it? You know, everything is to his personal interest. I repeat, this exterminism that Mr. Frase is talking about, 1% super rich. Those of you who think you are winning are not counted in that 1%. You must know that. You are not in that winning 1% at your level. And these super rich don't care, and exterminism means they want you to die before we waste precious resources left. We will have to be very careful about disguised exterminism by authoritarian leaders who only cares about himself and his own family. That's one value. And second value is there has to be legitimate system that those owner of rentism pay back to the public who are paying due every time they use their system. It's just a give and take situation. They will collect a huge amount of money from the system they established that everybody must use. I admit they are very smart, and it's unavoidable not to use the system they created. But they also must have some payback way to the public who are supporting their systems. Those two. But especially the one. We're heading towards the exterminism before we reach the socialism. So this blue states, red states war is actually socialism versus exterminism war. You have to be very careful. This exterminism is very personal. Only 1% who cares about themselves and their own family. 1%ers. That you must know. We all must act wisely so that our future after capitalism is over will be safe and peaceful for everybody. Okay, this is it. I'm uploading this type of videos at least twice a week. So if you like this kind of a lesson, please click that red flag Dr. Samurai logos. And up until next time, please have a wonderful time.